Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book your personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week, this week you have the Hanged Man. So the message for this card for me is always about reassessment and reevaluation, but it's also about stillness, waiting, and patience. This card is a very spiritual card, and so what it kind of says to me for you guys over the course of this week, it's about really taking time to see how you feel about everything, to sit in your own energy, to really take time to reassess, reevaluate, maybe even recharge and reboot yourself in some way, shape or form. This is about discovering, or not even discovering, realizing where maybe you've given too much, where have you overexerted yourself, where it is that maybe you are, maybe the tank is a little bit more empty than you want to admit at this moment in time. And this Hanged Man, one of the things that I love about this card, it really feels for me like one of the deepest messages are that everything we experience as a challenge, as a struggle, as a problem, has a spiritual answer or solution. And this week, I really feel like if you go within yourself, that is where you're going to find all of the answers that you seek. That's where you're going to find all of the knowledge that you need to find or acquire. For your actions and options this week, you have the Five of Swords. So it looks like this week there's either something that you want to say, maybe there's a bone that you feel like you have to pick, maybe in response to something that you learn, not even learn, maybe something that you realize, maybe this week there is a part of you that thinks, you know what, I've done enough, I've given enough, I have, overextended myself. And as that is the case, you know what, I feel like I need to say something. Remember, the Five of Swords can sometimes be, look at the figure on there, right? That's mental anguish. What it kind of says to me as well, this card, I always say to people, don't let anyone or any situation make you behave in a way that isn't true to yourself. This week, you could want to have that really sort of feisty, fiery, challenging conversation, and the energy just isn't there for it. It's either going to get the better of you, and you could, you might become a screaming harpy. It's definitely a possibility. Or you could end up saying something that you once it's out, you can't retract it. And there might be a part of you that thinks, wow, you know what, I meant that, but I could have said it in a much better way. So this week, you really want to temper what it is that you're saying, reassess, reevaluate what it is that you want to say. And more importantly, figure out why it is that you feel so strongly about this. And so that way you can get this out in a way that is true to who you are, that stands up for yourself, but also allows you to voice an opinion in a way that isn't going to burn a bridge. All right. So just something for you to think about this week. For your communications and conversations, you got the Page of Swords, right? So there could be a meeting this week, there could be a conversation, there could be a sit down of some sort. Now again, when you look at the whole wider world stage, it doesn't have to be like an in-person sit down or meeting. This could be over the airways, it could be a phone call, could be a conference. But this week there is a almost like a big debate of some sort that's taking place, and I kind of feel like there's a part of you that's undecided on where you actually stand on this at this moment in time. It's kind of like you're just saying, well, you know what, let me do my Virgo thing, let me just collect all the data, and then I'll sift through it and see how I feel about it. Unfortunately, things might move a little bit faster than that this week. So you might not necessarily have time to sift through everything. So you're going to have to go with, with weighing it up, right? And this is one of the things I think this week I feel like the message really underlying all of this is you've got to trust yourself. You've got to trust that you are smart enough, that you know enough. And this is one of the things that I love about Virgos, because you guys even when you know practically everything, like you in Gemini's, like even when you practically know everything, you're like, oh yeah, but you know, I'm sure I could learn a bit more. I'm sure I could, you know enough, you're smart enough, you're intelligent enough to make a good call, right? Just reassess and reevaluate how it is that you're disseminating whatever it is that you want to get across. And then also with the Page of Swords, sometimes this can be a bit of a, you know, a bit of a he said, she said, or maybe a bit of a heated conversation, or where somebody tries to use certain knowledge over you, and maybe you'll be calling them out on it. This could be a really powerful week for that, especially if you feel like somebody has overstepped the mark or overstepped a boundary. It's really important that you do that. For your money and materials, you have the Page of Cups. All right, so this week you have, and I'm sorry to say, this entire signature, so 2 pages together in a single reading or in some very small space, means disquiet, you know, so disruption. 5 of Swords added to this mix. This is a harsh or intense conversation, maybe about money, maybe about finances, maybe about something that you want to move ahead with but can't. Maybe some sort of red tape that is thrown up in you know, in your way, or this could be an emotional manipulation when it comes to money, finances, or resources this week. And it's important that you speak your truth, but like I said, you know, don't let someone or something make you become a you know, like a doing a Tyra Banks, right? Like try to find a way around that this week. Now, money in general, you know, with the Page of Cups, this could be a new idea that you come up with. This could be a new money spinner that you come up with that actually has, you know, that is deeply creative. Whether this is to do with your job, whether it's to do with your business, you know, it could be any one of those things. But this is an idea that could be very lucrative for you. It just looks like you're coming up against challenges this week, so you're going to have to reassess, reevaluate how it is that you're going to use this energy, or how it is that you're going to press forward. When it comes to your physical health, especially with the Hanged Man here, you've got to take it easy, all right? This is not a week for you to do more than you can. It's not a week for you to it's not a week for you to overexert yourself physically. Now, interestingly enough, this week, if you do have any issues, I actually feel like it's going to have something to do with your circulation. That's the feeling that I get from this. And with what I know about the Page of Swords, the feeling that I get, this is about the circulation of the blood. Again, I'm not a medical professional. I can't give you that kind of advice, but what I can tell you is what I'm seeing. And that's what I'm getting from this. Now, when it comes to your home and in your environment, this looks like, again, with the Page of Cups, this is about you doing creative things or being creative in the home, but kind of being ready to be done with what that is. All right. So whether this is work that you're doing on the home, whether it is, you know, maybe you have an idea for, actually, I want to paint this room, or, you know, I want to move things around there. This is you kind of looking at it and saying, right, how can I do this, but do it quickly? Again, you know, especially with the health stuff, this is not a week to overexert yourself. And then finally, for your love and relations, look at this. You've got the 4 of Wands. So for those of you that are partnered, married, long-term commitment, the relationship looks great. You might have a few irritable moments this week. It's definitely possible. If your partner sees you under duress or having undue stress, they might want to step in. I would err on the side of caution in that respect, because your ability to go overboard this week could be quite high. And if you add another person to that mix, plus the current astrology, it could take things from, you know, 0 to 100 real quick. So just, you know, just be aware of that. And then finally, for those of you that are single, it's interesting because this week I kind of feel like somebody could see you being that sort of, you know, feisty, possibly even like a little bit maybe OTT or aggressive. You know, somebody could see that, and actually they could find that attractive, and they'll be like, you know, oh, okay. And then when you simmer down, they're like, wow, okay, so you're this sort of nice, easygoing person, but there's that, you know, rod of steel up your back as well. which, you know, not necessarily a bad thing. And also, when it comes to invites this week, or maybe a friend trying to set you up, just be sure of what their intentions are. And the reason I say that is because, you know, the person could be a good match for you, but it might be that, you know, oh, you know, they've been trying to find someone for ages, and it's like, right, okay, so you thought of me, thanks. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just palm off the ones that nobody wants on me. Like, I'm joking, but you get my point. Like, just check what the motivation is behind that, and more importantly, see how you feel about it. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Remember to take it easy this week, all right? Take care, and I'll see you soon.